Here at Beautiful Bamboo we have 4 or 5 varieties which make very nice hedges that aren't too tall and invasive for the space that you have if you're in a small lot or just don't want something to get too tall if you have power lines or height restrictions like that. Right in front of me is the most popular bamboo here at Beautiful Bamboo called Graceful. Now, Graceful is very hardy. We didn't get any leaf damage or cane damage on this mature plant at 26 this year and 19 last year. Although the 3-gallon size in pots, as well as some of the younger plants in the ground, got a little leaf damage. It's in the moderately hardy, as well as yin yang next to it. Now both these bamboos are great for doing a hedge where you want something dense and not too tall. Graceful here has a very small footprint because each of these canes come up very close to the other one, making the circle a lot smaller in comparison to, say, this one over here, which is about twice the size of it. Now this plant is planted in 2006 from one single cane, and it's still growing a little bit taller, but it's reached maturity, and even after 3 years it's looking more like a mature plant. There are some new shoots from this summer that are still leafing out, and it takes them really throughout the winter to leaf out completely and become bushy at the top. Next to it, yin yang is a lot bigger in diameter than the Graceful. These canes are still growing since this plant is only 3.5 years old. These are beautiful. They get up towards the 2 inches, 2.25, 2.5. Right now they're only about at 2. They have a very nice white band that you'll see more in the summer around the node. And then it has a yellow stripe that goes from one side to the opposite side and then comes back to the other side. That yellow band is why it's called yin yang. Very beautiful green canes. Leaf pattern that falls down and has a very Asian look. Right through here are 4 plants that are planted 4 feet apart 2 growing seasons ago. And they got very tall very fast. And a little leaf damage from the cold, but otherwise not affected very much. And they looked even more full and green in the summer before the cold hit. And it's now January 28th, so hopefully we won't get too much more cold damage in February. But even if it gets down to the teens, a lot of these canes are going to survive. They'll just get a little bit of a burn on the leaves. So that's why we really like yin yang, and you can see the back here how much more leaves it has where we haven't trimmed it, and as well as on the Graceful. See how bushy it is. There's a few others that don't get quite as tall as 30, 40, 55 feet tall. Really, most of the ones we have here, I've only gotten to 45 feet tall, even though they can get taller than that. It just depends on where you're growing them and how you're feeding them, what kind of soil and water and fertilizer they get. Next to it is Sea Breeze, which is 45 feet tall, can get to 55. Beautiful bamboo, very dense and very prolific. Now, Sea Breeze grows like an umbrella, up and out at the top, whereas Graceful and yin yang, they're very straight. And the one next to yin yang, Graceful, it's really the straightest bamboo that we have, other than Giant Timber, which is a lot larger, and I'll show you that one in a minute. Giant Timber is about 45 feet too, just like the Sea Breeze right here. But unlike the Sea Breeze, Giant Timber grows very straight. It doesn't go out at the top at all. It gets beautiful big canes, 3, 4, 5 inches in diameter, and just goes straight up. That's about 45 feet tall there. It can get upwards to 60 if you're down in a little more tropical of an area. Beautiful sound as the canes sway in the wind. These green canes are the ones from this year, this summer, and here is a few that are little age spots from time, and here's one that's actually gotten killed. It's this gray. So those can get cut out, and down here you can see where I've trimmed a cane to get a pole for someone to use. Make great building material. Someone made a really nice hedge that was a fence with those as the uprights, like 4x4s. Now, coming over here, straight ahead, the sun's in the way there a little bit, but I'm going to show you a 3-year-old plant of Graceful, so you get an idea how 3 years it tends to look like a full-grown plant, and that's straight ahead of us is Graceful. There's 2 plants here, 3 growing seasons, and if you have a small space and you want something that's going to fill in and give you privacy, it's a great plant for it. Very green on the bottom here, and just about getting to its full height, 20 feet there. And this is Graceful. I'm going to show you, right across there is the mature plant, but it's hard to see. I'm going to show you 2-year and 1-year growth of Graceful, so you get an idea from a container, which is usually a 3-gallon, 7-gallon, that is in someone's budget, how much growth you're going to get. And it's really fast, so it makes sense to get that size, unless you want something instant. Here's the original cane, planted in March. Everything else around it, and I count 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 new shoots in just one growing season. That's from March to October. These shoots went quite high, and they're leafing out still from the top to the bottom. You can see a little leaf damage in the grape leaves there. They'll green up within a month or 2. And next to it is another one. Those are both planted at the same time, 4 feet apart. Now they touch in the first year at 4 to 6 feet apart, and once those canes leaf out all the way in the next few months, it'll be much more of a green hedge. Next to it, you can see a green hedge, and that's 2 growing seasons. This is Graceful, planted 2 years ago. And way at the top there, they're still leafing out, but they leafed out quite a bit more than the 1-year plants. So in 2 growing seasons, you can turn something like this into something like this, and then it continues to get bigger and bigger, as you saw with the 3-year plant and the mature plant. As far as a 3-gallon size, this time of year there's mostly just one shoot for $75. Here's a new little one that's just shooting up because it's kind of feeling like spring. But you get a very tall plant, close to 6, 7, 8 feet, unless you want a shorter one, which we have as well. And this is Graceful in 3 gallons, and then we have some really nice 7 gallons here, which have 3 to 4 canes, and they're quite a bit taller. You're going to see a plant which is more in the 10, 12 foot range. And if you're interested in purchasing, feel free to contact us at 352-429-2425, or just visit us at beautifulbamboo.com and write us an email. We look forward to seeing you.